Welcome to our Monday call, which is all about final expense, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time every single Monday. And this Monday, I want to talk about blitzes and what I do on a blitz. What is a blitz? How does it operate? Right? So this is some really, really key questions. And this is what has enabled me to become a very, very high level producer, to not just produce at $150,000 a year, but to go well over that and exceed that to the $250,000 club. I think all agents that do this, what ends up happening is they surpass that $250,000 threshold like I've done in my career. And I can show you the results. I could show you the weeks that I've done it. And let me kind of explain what it is for those of you that may or may not know what a blitz is, if you haven't done one before, right? So basically what it is I get a concentrated amount of leads in a single area for a short period of time. And the mentality, right, is generally I want to do it outside of my area, right? Of course, you could do it in your home territory, but I want to do it outside of my area. And I want to have the mentality of care less, sell more, right? I want to move quickly. I want to buy a substantial amount of leads. I generally, in order for me to have a $20,000 week, I knew that I needed about 100 leads or more. I think the most amount of leads that I bought was probably close to like 134 in a single week. And I didn't care, right? I don't care about how much I spend. So, when if we just did the math and we say, hey, 100 leads times $36 a lead, that's $3,600, right? And a lot of people look at that and they're like, dang, that's a lot of money. Like, yeah, that's a lot of money you're going to make, right? So it's that mentality, that's that mindset of, wow, I have to spend so much. You got to fly there. You got to get a rental car, right? You have to pay for the leads, right? There's got to pay for the appointments. There's a lot of cost involved, right? But I know with absolute certainty that I'm going to quadruple my money, 5x, 6x on a return on investment for me very, very easily. So for me personally, when I look at it, I say, hey, all right, how do I do that? What's my game plan? All right, so the game plan, and there's some really, really important things. Like I said, why are we doing it? To make a substantial amount of money in a single week. How are we going to do it? We're going to buy about 80 leads or more. And a lot of people say to me, they're like, well, I can't work 80 leads in a week. Good. You shouldn't work 80 leads in a week. That's not the objective, is to work 80 leads in a week, right? That's not what you want to do. So, and then where do you do it? You do it outside of your normal territory. So for me, I'm in North Texas, close to Oklahoma, right? I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth area, North Texas. And then I would drive 5 hours west of me all the way to Amarillo, or go to Lubbock, or go to Tyler, right? Which is all the way east of me, about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Or I could go south, right? There's so many locations. Texas obviously is a massive state. So there's so many locations that I could go in my own state, right? But if I was to pull up a map of the US real quick, I could tell you guys all the states that I've sold in all across the entire country. And for me, that is a tremendous thing to be able to travel. I mean, I personally, I've always enjoyed seeing the country. I mean, it's a beautiful country. I don't think you need to leave the United States to enjoy or see something beautiful. I've been blessed. I've been to Texas for work. I'm originally from New York, so I went and I started selling in Connecticut. I've been to Massachusetts for work. I've been to Rhode Island for work, Pennsylvania, Delaware, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois. Did I go to Indiana? I don't remember. Let's see. And many more, actually. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I was just trying to pull up a map and look at it. So yeah, I mean, that's probably like 12 states right over there, if not more. So there's a substantial amount of traveling that I've done, and I've been blessed to do it. Tennessee was a beautiful state as well that I went to. So I've been all over, and I've done it for this job, and I've done it for my family. In the end of the day, that's really all that matters. That's all that I care about. So that would answer the question as to where the leads, what type of lead type am I running? I'm running direct mail, right? That's really it. I'm running direct mail, fresh, exclusive direct mail. I want final expense leads. Yeah, you can do blitzes with Medicare too, right? So that's a good thing as well. And I incorporate it just like I normally do in my normal business, where I'm cross-selling both, right? Cross-selling both Medicare, hospital indemnity, annuities, final expense. But you have to remember, on a blitz, you move fast. Okay. So you might not have time for everything, but you can have circle back Saturdays, or, circle back Mondays or something like that. And then the next question is, people ask, well, how long do you do it for? So generally I'm doing 5 to 7 days. Okay. And that's usually my ballpark. If I got to do 8 days, that's fine, but that's usually the max that I'll do. And then I'm heading back on home to my family. People always ask, hey, how many hours in the day are you working? How many appointments a day? Well, nonstop, right? I don't have a choice in this business for my family whether or not I can just make enough to pay the bills, right? That's non-negotiable. I don't have a choice. I have to make a substantial amount of money to provide the best quality of life for my wife, for my son, right? I got to give him the best quality of life. And for our soon-to-be child, which we just found out is going to be a girl, names to come. I'll keep you all posted. So that's a very, very good point, is you have to be relentless with your attitude, and you got to move quick pace, right? So final expense is what generates the revenue. Medicare is what pays our future selves. And for those of you that have a Medicare book of business and you get a taste of those renewals, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I am blessed to have over 6 figures in renewals, and it is really, it's stress relieving, right? You don't have any financial stress, which is probably the number one stressor in the entire country, probably one of the biggest causes for divorces, health issues, right? Stuff like that is that financial stress, that money stressor. Okay. So that's a huge thing. Licensing is important whenever you travel out of a state. You need to make sure that you're licensed in that state. With Medicare, you have to be appointed generally with companies before you go out there and you sell them. Okay. So that's something you want to do, is you want to get a license for yourself personally. If you have a corporation, you want to do that as well. And then for your corporation, yeah. So just make sure you do that for your corporation. You add that in whenever you travel. You got to have both if you're selling under your corp. So that's important for licensing. Don't just do it last minute, right? Some states, Massachusetts might take longer for a corporation, right? For me, it's for some reason they're moving really slow. And I talked with Cole and he said the same thing for his corp. He's like, yeah, it takes forever. It's very difficult to get a license there. I don't know why. Right. And then you apply for Mississippi and you get it in literally a day. It's done. It's like the next day. It's like, hey, you're good to go. It's like instant. It's like crazy. So every state's a little bit different. So just make sure that you're planning the stuff in advance and you are prepared, right? Proper planning prevents poor performance. Okay. That is so incredibly crucial for you guys. Okay. I don't want it to delay commissions. But what happens whenever you write your first piece of business in a new state, the companies have to go verify you got a license in that state, which is why I always say, hey, just, do this stuff up front, especially with the Medicare side. So what you do is you got your license, the insurance company then goes ahead and they verify it, okay, with the Department of Insurance for that state. So Kansas, I went and sold in Kansas too. I forgot about Kansas, unless I might have said it, but Kansas as well. Okay, so let's say I went to Kansas, I did a blitz there, and I sold a ton of insurance. I'm going to have a delay on my commissions where most companies might pay me, right, in a day or 2 days. It might be 5 days, right, because it's a delay. It's what the Department of Insurance has to say, yeah, this person's got a license in this state. You can pay them. Okay. As we all know, leads are the lifeline of the business. Without leads, there is no income. You're not building a business. The whole objective of why we do this is to build a book of business, right? So we can build that book to market to that book. I've told you guys before on other calls how many people I can market to in the thousands. I bought so many leads over my career. And doing these blitzes is what stimulates that and builds your book faster. The objective is to get a substantial amount of clients and continue to market to those clients all the time and be nonstop with them and staying in front of them. Gerber Life Insurance. Right? When I had my son, I don't know what data that they purchased, right? But when I had my son, they're sending stuff out, right? So maybe they're using TLO, right? A skip tracing service. They're getting information from the state somehow, right? Whenever you have a child, it's public record. So they're doing something creative and they always market to us. You ever see Mutual of Omaha when you're in the home? You ever see Gerber when you're in the home? Physicians Mutual, depending on the state that you're in, right? You ever see this stuff when you're in the house? Right? They are doing direct to consumer marketing. and you need to be marketing to your book directly. And I know I talk about that all the time because it's so incredibly important. And keep in mind that, right now in our society, I have so many cool tools that I use. We're just so spoiled now relative to how we once were, right? Last week, I went over, one of the tools that I use, Sunfire. I have Monday.com, which is a project management tool that I use as a CRM. It saves everything in there. It's phenomenal. And that works great for me, right? But works good for me, doesn't always work great for the next person. So find a CRM that's friendly with you and your business that you like, right? And budget's obviously important too. So we have such great technology. You can map out all your leads. You can take notes. You can be, consistent with that stuff. You don't have to unfold a map and pin everything. And we have fresh, exclusive mail that you can get, right? So even though I'm leaving, right, and going out of town for a week, right, that doesn't mean that the following week I'm not going to take my leads, right? So keep that in mind. I'm always keeping my current lead flow going. I don't just stop for whatever reason. I am consistent in my entire business. What I've found is that inconsistencies with cash flow means that you have inconsistencies with writing business, which means that when you have that, you get some chargebacks. Okay. And when those chargebacks hit, now you can't write one insurance company, Royal Neighbors. So you have to switch to Prosperity, but then you get a chargeback at Prosperity. So then you got to write AmAm and then this and this and this. And next thing you know, you're in that vicious spiral, that downward spiral where you could be out of business in less than 6 months. Okay. So that's a tremendous thing when you have an inconsistency with leads and you're not going on the road. So if I don't have leads in my home territory, I'm going to make it work, right? Even if I have to go out of town for 3 days, 4 days, I'm going to do it. Sorry, honey, I love you, but I got to go, right? I'm not even doing this for me. In fact, I'm doing it for you guys. Right. So that's important. That's very, very important for y'all to know as well. So my objective, what is my goal on these weeks? Okay. So I'm pretty good at sales, right? I've always done pretty well in sales. Later in my career, the first 3 years I spent just straight up door knocking. I wasn't really comfortable in my own shoes, right? I wasn't really comfortable, getting on the phone. I felt like I was just burning leads because my confidence level was low. I hadn't closed enough deals. Now my confidence level is through the roof. I'm the same person here on this call as I am when I'm in the home. Sometimes people, they change, they talk different when they're in the house, right? Just be you, be you. So your objective and your goal is generally going to be a 20% closing ratio at an absolute minimum. Okay. So if you get 100 leads, that's 20 apps in a single week. Some agents aren't even writing 5 in a week, right? So now you're going to take 4 weeks of production and jam pack that all into 1 week. Now, 5 apps isn't a bad week. If your average annualized premium, okay, is let's just say your average app size is $75 per app and you're writing 5 apps in a week. That's a total of, actually, let's do 75 times 12. Let's do AP. So that's $900 annualized premium. Okay. So, and we're going to multiply that by, hold on, let me see. How many apps did I say? So 900 times 5, right? Okay. So that's $4,500 in a week. That's pretty dang good, right? That's a substantial amount of money to make in a week. So that's phenomenal off 5 apps. Okay. So another thing that I look at too, is I say, okay, well, how can I, how much money am I going to make on the splits? So I take 100 leads and I do that same thing. I take 100, I multiply that by 20%, which is 20 apps. And then I take that, multiply that by 900. That's 18 grand. That's $18,000 right there. And I've had weeks where I have surpassed that and written over $20,000 multiple times. Here's the thing. When you go on a blitz, we know about chargebacks. We know chargebacks happen. So when you go on a blitz and you make 20 grand a week, you don't stop the next week, right? Because the more you write, the more chargebacks you're inherently going to have. Okay. So you have to be consistent and continue going. You can't take a week off. Oh, well, I had to get my oil changed on my car or I popped a tire, Okay, you popped a tire. You get the car towed to whatever place. You're not waiting there all day. You're going to go get a rental car for $50, $75, $100, whatever it is for the day, because you're going to make more than $75, $100 than you are sitting there and you go pick the car up when you're done at night. Those places, they usually don't close till 8, 9 o'clock, right? I've seen it many times where people, I got to get my oil changed. Oil change doesn't take all day. You do that stuff in 10 minutes. I think the marketing on most places is like 15 minutes or less. Right. So that doesn't take all day to do that stuff, and save that stuff for the weekends anyways. Like car maintenance or stuff that you don't have to do during what I would call revenue generating hours. Okay. Times that you can bring the money. How many days should I work? Okay. Every single day, 6 days in a row, nonstop. Right. So many people, they go on a blitz, they take 40 leads, 50 leads, 60 leads. That's not, to me, that's not enough. Right. Because I know in order for me to make a lot of money, 20 grand or more in a week, I need a minimum of 100 leads. I don't care about the leads and who I can't get to. I don't care about how much money I spend. I care about how much money I make. Even if I spent 10 grand and I made 20, I doubled my money. Would you spend 20 grand to make 40? Would you spend 40 to make 80? Yeah, it's a no-brainer, right? But obviously we want to have a lot more than that. Plus all the Medicare sales. Plus you might run into an annuity. Plus, it now gives you a place. Check this out. It now gives you a book of business in a certain area. So if I went to Jackson, Tennessee, right, where I sold before, and I decided, I was like, hey, I'm going to go back to Jackson, Tennessee one day, right? Now I know next year I'm going to go drop 100 leads in Jackson, Tennessee, right? And I'm going to go back to that area, right? And now I got blitzes all throughout the country where you have a book of business, right? I know agents, Wendy, she goes to Morganton in North Carolina, right? If we can get leads there, sometimes you can't always get leads in the area again, the next year, sometimes it's taken up by another agent. The territory is not available, but you guys get the point, right? At least you can go to that area. All right. So next, nonstop work, just continuously seeing people. There's no breaks, right? You get there, you get in the area, and what you do is you make sure that you got your food in the car, right? You go to Walmart that night, you go to the grocery store that night, you get some packs inside your cooler. You bring a cooler, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. Buy a cooler, fill it up with some ice or those ice packs that you can put in the freezer inside your refrigerator at the hotel, right? Put that in there, fill it on up, have the food ready, have the waters ready, have everything that you need in that car. The only thing that you're doing is you're stopping to use the restroom at the client's house. Sometimes the client's house is nasty. All right, stop, go to McDonald's or something, Starbucks, whatever. But you get the point. It's nonstop. You don't have time to stop, and don't worry rather about not being able to get to the next appointment. If I'm at my 12 o'clock appointment, and I'm there till 2, I go to my 1. Okay. At 2 o'clock, I'm going to my 1 o'clock. And if I'm at my 1 o'clock and I get there, my 1 o'clock appointment, but I don't get there till 2 o'clock, and I'm there till 3:30, I'm going to my 2 o'clock appointment, right? I want an appointment every hour on the hour. I want to be relentless, nonstop all day. Okay. So location doesn't matter to me at all. Just so you guys know, I think every single final expense client is the same. I don't think there's a difference in one final expense client to the next. I really don't. I think they're the same people. Either they talk funny or I talk funny. To them, I go out in the country. I've been down there in North Carolina in some country areas. I've been to West Virginia where Jeff is. I know it's a big state. Definitely not where Jeff actually is. But I've been down there too. I've been out in the hollers. I didn't even know what holler was until I went down there. And you're like, dang, it's crazy. I've been all the way up in Bridgeport, Connecticut, which, as you know, is, if you don't know, it's way different than going out to a holler in West Virginia. I've sold in the city of Dallas, right? I've sold in many, many cities all throughout the country. I think every single client that we deal with, they're just genuinely nice people that need help. Even if they don't live in the best environment, that's okay, right? They're on a fixed income. They can only afford what they can afford. They're just nice people that need help. And it's our job, it's our responsibility to go out there and help them. Sometimes people don't even know that they're in a bad situation until we dig, which is what our job is, right? You figure out, you look at it, you're digging through these policies, and you get 3 or 4 policies, and you leave the house with $300 in premium that another agent didn't do because you bundled all the policies into one and you upgraded them. Right now they're bundled. Okay. So that's another thing that's really, really important. There's no difference between one sale or the other when I'm going out there on the leads, right? I don't really care at all. I treat all clients the same. I don't look at a lead and I judge it, right? I just literally roll up to the house. I don't care, right? For me, it doesn't matter at all. I'm going to the next one to the next one. I don't judge their handwriting, the color of the pen on it, right? I'm just as relentless as I can possibly, getting from one house to the next house quickly after I do the sale. If I sniff for a second that these people ain't buying, I'm gone. Like, I don't want to spend any more time there, which is incredibly important for me as an agent, right? We have limited time. Another question that people ask me is, where do I do the licensing? That's NIPR.com. If you're not familiar with that, go out and fill out a non-resident license. Obviously, you got a resident state, so non-resident license. So those are some really key things that I want to talk about for that blitz. Our next one we got coming on up here, and the reason why I'm talking about it is Milwaukee. People are going this coming Saturday. They're starting out AP with a bang, preparing everything to make a ton of money and do a lot of sales. Okay, that's the thing. All right, that's the objective, is how do I just start off AEP with a bang? Annual enrollment period, October 15th through December 7th, but we can compliantly start marketing the plans October 1st. So that's great. So we can start talking about it as of October 1st. That's amazing, right? So that's what we're doing there, is we're doing a blitz. And if you want to do a blitz, and that's something that interests you, you got to get with your upline, get with your manager, say, hey, what area can I go to? You know, where can I go? Where do we have a lot of leads right now? Like, I want to get on the road. Okay, here's the 6 different spots in the country that we can go. All right, is one in driving distance, save you cost on a rental car, right? Maybe that helps, right? Maybe that works. Okay, do that first. Maybe it's a 6-hour drive, 7-hour drive, whatever it is. We're road warriors. Sometimes I like being on the road because I actually get to listen to some stuff, get a little peace and quiet, right? Get to put on my Audible, sit back, listen to some stuff. I love that. I enjoy that. I think that's an amazing thing to kind of get on that road and have that time to yourself. So I personally enjoy that. So find something, right? Send a message to your manager, whoever you're working with, or if you're working direct, send an email to the lead team and say, hey, where can I go? I don't care the age of the leads too. That's why I buy so many, right? If it's a 4 or 5, 6 month old lead, great. I need more, right? That's all that it says to me is I need more leads, right? So if it's 6 months old, maybe I want to do 150, right? I don't care. I don't care how many leads I buy. Like I always say, it's all about how much we make, right? It's not how much we're spending. Volume, volume, volume. That's all we're going for. Okay. And if they ain't buying, you get out fast, right? Quick. Nice to meet you. I got to go. Here's my card. Call me if you need insurance. And you're very direct. Like, do you need life insurance? No. All right. I got to go. Got someone else to go see, right? Or if you're there for Medicare, you're on Medicare, right? You're kind of helping them, talking to them, right? There's obviously, we don't want to leave sales on the table, but at the same time, sometimes we all are guilty of it. We might spend a little too much time with someone, whereas this is very, very relentless. And I do an appointment every hour on the hour. All right. So with that said, that is blitzes. Be prepared for it. You got it coming on up shortly. Who has some questions? If you have some questions, I'll take questions right now. If not, we will downset Hut, how to do a blitz, how to plan a blitz, whatever question you might have. Feel free to unmute yourself or drop it in the chat box. Open up the chat box, see if someone's got some. For a blitz coming near you, sometimes we do them in cities. We've had many in Dallas. So even in my own territory, I personally don't care. Come here and hang out, have fun. I have agents come in all the time from out of town that have done training with me. Many of you, right? You've done training with me personally. You come from out of town. I get you leads right here in my own territory. Here you go. Buy them. I don't care. Right? Just another lead, just another person to go see. Sit down, talk with them, make some sales. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone for joining this evening. And if you guys need anything, feel free to reach out to me. That's how you do a blitz. That's how you plan a blitz. That's how you make $20,000 in a single week. And I've done it multiple times throughout my career. Many, many times I've done that. Follow those instructions. Move quickly. Be relentless. Take that time to make the money, but actually do it and get it done. I appreciate everyone. Have a wonderful evening. If you need me, feel free to reach out, text, email, phone call, whatever works best. See y'all on the Wednesday Medicare training call at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If not, next Monday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the final expense training call.